In 2017, Meghan Markle made her first public appearance with Prince Harry at the Invictus Games, but what seemed like a simple debut was actually a carefully orchestrated PR move. As we're gearing up for the 2025 Invictus Games, it's the perfect time to look back on the events with the gift of hindsight. In part 2 of this 3-part series, we're diving deeper into Meghan's contradictory narratives at the 2017 Invictus Games, because this time, the story gets even messier. While one article claimed Meghan was staying out of the spotlight, another insists she and Harry were secretly engaged, which directly contradicts what they told the world in their engagement interview. So who's lying? More importantly, why does Meghan get to control the story even when the facts don't add up? In this video, we'll break down how she manipulates the media, why she was likely leaking stories, and how these conflicting reports prove she's been rewriting history from the start. So if this sounds interesting to you, sit back, relax. This one's going to be a good one. But before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. Let's get into the article straight away. The article is titled, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were already engaged when they attended the 2017 Invictus Games, and we all missed Meghan's hint about it. This article, it seems, was published in 2020. It starts, at the 2017 Invictus Games in Toronto, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped out for their public debut as a couple. It turns out that Harry and Meghan were already engaged at the September 2017 event, according to the new book, Finding Freedom, Harry and Meghan and the Making of a Modern Royal Family. Meghan reportedly hinted at the engagement with her outfit choice for the occasion. She wore the husband shirt from Misha Nonu's collection. Harry and Meghan looked deeply in love at the event, which makes sense considering the secret they were keeping. Turns out they were already engaged. The revelation is just one of many about the Sussexes in the new book, Finding Freedom. In retrospect, Meghan gave fans and royal watchers a huge hint at the truth. The now iconic white button-down shirt she wore for the date is known as the husband shirt from Meghan's designer friend Misha Nonu's collection. I don't know if any of you had heard about this, but I had no idea. I haven't read Finding Freedom because I feel like I'll get aggravated listening to it or reading it while I listen to audiobooks. So I feel like I'll get aggravated if I listen to it. So I never read it, and I'm shocked to see this. In this video, what I'll do is I'll talk about how she ends up using this event to showcase herself, again, as usual. And then I'll talk about how this contradicts with the article that I talked about in part 1 of this series. And finally, I want to talk about Meghan's likelihood of leaking these stories to the press. I'm really excited to get into this. This was very interesting for me to research, and I hope you find it interesting too. First things first, let's talk about Meghan's husband shirt and how it's a symbolic power move. The article claims that Meghan hinted at her secret engagement through her fashion choice, the now infamous husband shirt from designer Misha Nonu's collection. We know this was not a random outfit choice. Meghan knew exactly what she was doing. Choosing a shirt literally called the husband shirt was a way to subtly announce her status before the engagement was official. It was a silent message to royal watchers. I've already won. I'm already his wife. The narcissistic play here is that Meghan wanted control over how the engagement story was told. Instead of waiting for an official announcement, she dropped a clue for attention, giving the press something to speculate about. We know this is not something new with Meghan. She was doing the exact same thing in her early days dating Harry before the news was released out to the public. Both of these things are classic PR manipulation tactics, leaking hints, letting the media build the story, and then acting surprised when the speculation spreads. What about this secret engagement? I think this is another example of Meghan controlling the narrative and rewriting history. According to Finding Freedom, Meghan and Harry were already engaged 2 months before their official announcement in November 2017. Yet during their engagement interview, Harry claimed they got engaged a few weeks ago earlier this month. This means they lied about the timeline. But why? Why would they hide it? I think they wanted control over the public perception. The palace likely wanted a controlled engagement rollout, but Meghan wanted to tease and leak the details on her own terms. The PR strategy may have made sense to make it look like it was more spontaneous, and they wanted their engagement announcement that was pushed to add to this fairy tale love story narrative that Meghan likes to talk about. If the public knew that they had already been engaged for months, it could and likely would ruin the illusion that Harry proposed in a spontaneous, intimate way. The narcissistic pattern that we see here is the lying about timelines to make themselves look better. Think about the potential timeline when also Harry and Meghan supposedly met. Meghan repeatedly rewrites history to fit her preferred narrative. For example, I knew nothing about the royals when she had been studying them for years. This is another example of her manipulating public perception, keeping the real engagement secret while strategically hinting at it for maximum intrigue. The article describes Invictus 2017 as a turning point for Meghan and Harry, the moment that they publicly debuted as a couple. The first appearance at the opening ceremony had them sitting separately per royal protocol, but days later they staged a hand-holding, loved-up appearance at a tennis match. This was intentional. Meghan and Harry knew cameras would capture it. They choreographed the moment to maximize PR impact while keeping the secret engagement a hidden but juicy story. The narcissistic play here is Meghan couldn't just attend Invictus as a supportive girlfriend. She needed to turn the event into a relationship milestone for her and Harry. Instead of letting the focus remain on veterans and athletes, the media attention shifted to their romance. This was the beginning of Meghan's pattern of hijacking major events for personal branding. She would later do the same with Queen Elizabeth's funeral, the Platinum Jubilee, and even King Charles's coronation discussions. Another major theme here is Meghan's use of mirroring. She adapted her behavior and image to fit whatever would make her seem like the perfect future royal. Her button-down jeans at Invictus tried to be a casual yet classy style. She knew royal watchers would compare her to Princess Catherine, so she made sure her outfit screamed effortless royal elegance. She's also mirroring celebrity engagement culture. Instead of following traditional royal discretion, she dropped hints about her relationship, something Hollywood celebrities often do with fashion and accessories. We know that later she also would copy Princess Diana's wardrobe and would pose to solidify the image of being just like Harry's mother. So why does this matter? Early Meghan, 2017, was still mirroring what she thought a perfect royal girlfriend should be. Once she had the engagement locked down, she stopped mirroring and started breaking rules, like disregarding dress codes, demanding special treatment, and pushing her own PR agenda. I go into this in detail in part 1 of this series. 2017 Meghan was still wearing the, in quotation marks, good royal in waiting mask. That mask would fully drop once she secured the ring. Instead of letting Invictus remain about the athletes, Meghan and Harry turned it into a milestone in their relationship, a secret engagement teaser, and a PR event disguised as a casual outing. How does this fit Meghan's narcissistic pattern? She used an event for veterans as a backdrop for her own personal PR moment. She leaked hints to get the public talking, but later acts like she's been hounded by the media. She also is controlling the narrative by keeping secrets but dropping clues for intrigue. Meghan never truly wanted privacy. She wanted to control the attention. Invictus 2017 was one of her first major public tests of this strategy, and it works. So let's do a final analysis of the 2017 Invictus Games and how they were a calculated Meghan PR stunt. The husband shirt was a power move, not a coincidence. The secret engagement timeline shows a deliberate manipulation of the public. Their public debut at Invictus was carefully staged for maximum media impact. She mirrored royal and celebrity engagement strategies to shape her image. She hijacked a military-focused event to make the media focus on her relationship. 2017 Meghan was still in the calculated mirroring phase, playing the part of the perfect royal in waiting. Once she secured her royal title, the mask dropped and the real Meghan emerged, entitled, rule-breaking, and self-absorbed. So, why is there such a stark difference between part one of this series and part two? Let's talk about the two clashing narratives. In the first article I discussed in part one of this series, Meghan doesn't want to take attention away from the veterans. She's staying in the background, following royal protocol and being quietly supportive. Yet in this article, which is a revised narrative from Finding Freedom, Meghan subtly hinted at her engagement during Invictus 2017, making a fashion statement and using Invictus as a relationship milestone for media attention. This contradiction reveals that Meghan was playing two opposing PR games at the same time. In real time, Meghan wanted to appear humble and unproblematic because she hadn't locked down her royal status yet. She followed the seating protocol, didn't really wave to cameras, and let the event seem to be about the veterans. This made her look like a proper royal girlfriend, gaining favor with the royal family and public. The press at the time framed her as quietly supporting Harry, but in retrospect, Finding Freedom in 2020 reveals that Meghan and Harry rewrote the story to make Invictus about their love story. Instead of being a quiet, respectful girlfriend, Meghan is now framed as dropping hints, symbolizing her secret engagement, and having a deeply in love moment with Harry. This turns the 2017 Invictus Games from a veteran-focused event into a Meghan-focused PR spectacle. She now wants credit for making it a public relationship milestone, directly contradicting her 2017 "I don't want attention" stance. Bottom line, she was simultaneously playing the perfectly discreet royal girlfriend role in order to win approval from the firm, while also laying the groundwork for her celebrity power move. One of the biggest red flags of narcissistic behavior is rewriting past events to make themselves the center of the story. In 2017, Meghan played the supportive, non-attention-seeking girlfriend role because she had to secure the engagement. By 2020, in Finding Freedom, the goal had shifted. She wasn't just the supportive girlfriend anymore. She was the superstar royal rebel. To fit this new image, they had to change the story, turning Invictus into Meghan's big debut rather than a veteran-focused event. The narcissistic pattern we're seeing here is that in 2017, she's trying to say, "I don't want to take attention away from the veterans," and she's saying this because she still needed public and royal approval. But now she's saying, "I secretly signaled my engagement, making this event a milestone in my love story." And she's saying this because the narrative shift benefits her post-royal brand. She twists the past to match whatever version of herself she's selling at the moment. This discrepancy proves that no event, no cause, and no occasion is safe from becoming a Meghan moment. In 2017, she knew she couldn't overshadow Invictus because it would make her look bad, so she pretended to stay in the background. But later, when she had full control of her public image, she reframed the event to make it about her and Harry's deep love and secret engagement. The veterans, the athletes, and the true meaning of Invictus were completely erased. So what's the pattern we're seeing here? Meghan attaches herself to an important event for credibility. She acts like she's just a supportive presence to avoid backlash. She then later rewrites history to make it about her. Since both of the stories that we've talked about in part one and part two of this series can't be true at the same time, Meghan was clearly lying in at least one version of the story. If she really didn't want attention in 2017, why did she wear a symbolic husband shirt to tease the engagement? If she was truly trying to keep the focus on the veterans, why did she later reframe it as her first in-love public debut? Why did she allow Finding Freedom to rebrand Invictus as a personal milestone rather than a veteran-focused event? The answer is because she was never actually selfless. She was just playing the long game. 2017 Meghan was a mask. Once she had enough power, she rewrote the past to give herself a starring role. This contradiction perfectly showcases Meghan's narcissistic ability to shapeshift depending on what benefits her most at the moment. In 2017, she pretended to be low-key and respectful because she was still being evaluated by the royal family. By 2020, she needed to rewrite history so that her and Harry's love story looked even grander. So suddenly, Invictus was about her engagement clues and their public debut. So what classic narcissistic traits are exposed in this situation? We see mirroring. She copied the supportive royal girlfriend look in 2017, then abandoned it once she didn't need it. She rewrote history. Once she was a duchess, she retconned the entire event to be about her. Attention seeking. She couldn't just support Harry, she had to insert secret symbolism to make herself the main character. And lies and contradictions. Both stories can't be true. Proving at least one is a complete fabrication. No matter what she claims in the moment, the real goal is always the same: to make everything about Meghan. All of this to say that Meghan used Invictus 2017 as a stepping stone. She used it to establish credibility as a royal girlfriend. Today, she hijacks any event when she wants positive PR, despite having no genuine passion for veterans. We're going to see her do this, I believe, real time tomorrow, February 8th, which is the opening day of Invictus 2025. We also know she does this same thing, hijacking events, even if it's a tragedy. She did it at Uvalde. She did it at the LA fires, and she continues to use anything she can to boost her image. Meghan was never humble or selfless. She was just playing a role she needed, and once she had power, she did what all narcissists do, made it about herself. None of this analysis makes sense unless we know that Meghan was leaking stories to the press. So let's talk a little bit about some evidence and other things we can look at to try to show that Meghan was the one leaking these stories. Meghan actually has a documented history of leaking to the media. Jason Knopf, who was a former royal aide, exposed her media manipulation. In the Daily Mail lawsuit, texts from Meghan revealed that she directly instructed Jason Knopf to leak favorable information to journalists. She even said in one message, "I want you to be able to set the record straight if needed." This proves she was actively feeding the press stories while pretending she was being hounded by them. We also know that Scobie and Durand's book, Finding Freedom, was essentially Meghan's PR piece. Court documents later revealed that she cooperated with Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, giving them private details to shape her story. Finding Freedom pushed the second version of the Invictus 2017 story, which reframed it as a relationship milestone instead of a quiet, low-key appearance. This means Meghan was behind at least one of these conflicting stories, but likely part of both. The first narrative that Meghan was just at Invictus 2017 to support Harry had to be that she didn't want to take attention away from the veterans. This was the royal-friendly version. At the time, she wasn't officially engaged, so she had to play by the rules. The royal family would have never approved of her stealing focus from the veterans. To secure her position, Meghan needed the press to portray her as a supportive, non-attention-seeking girlfriend. So who likely leaked this version of the story? It's likely Meghan or someone in her camp, allegedly, trying to make her look low-key and respectful to please the royal family. And it may have also been the palace itself, ensuring the event remained veteran-focused rather than a PR circus. And why would Meghan push this at the time? She was still trying to gain approval from the royals and couldn't risk looking like an attention seeker yet. This is an example of Meghan mirroring what was expected of her at the time. Now, what about the secret engagement story? By 2020, Meghan and Harry had left the royal family and no longer had to worry about following protocol or keeping the focus on the veterans. This meant she could now reframe Invictus 2017 as a love story milestone instead of a veteran-focused event. Finding Freedom pushed this entirely new narrative that Meghan had actually dropped hints about their secret engagement at Invictus. This contradicts the original narrative that she was just a quiet, supportive presence. So who likely leaked this? It could be Meghan's team, through Finding Freedom, ensuring that the new narrative made Invictus about her love story instead of veterans. We know Omid Scobie is the author of the book, so he may have done it himself to push her desired version of events. Why did Meghan want to change the story? By 2020, her brand wasn't about being a quietly supportive royal anymore. It was about being a global star. She needed to retroactively center herself in major royal events to maintain relevance after leaving the firm. She hijacked the Invictus Games in hindsight, ensuring that her role in the event seemed more important than it actually was at the time. The fact that two completely opposite narratives exist about the same event suggests that Meghan was playing both sides, carefully shaping the media coverage to suit her changing needs. In 2017, she wanted to be seen as quiet and respectful to keep the palace happy, and by 2020, she wanted to be seen as a powerful, already engaged woman making her major public debut. Both stories cannot be true. That means that one of them, or both, was a deliberately planted PR narrative. And who benefits from both versions of this story? Meghan does. Meghan's history with the press follows a predictable pattern. Number 1, leak strategically to control the narrative. Number 2, act innocent and pretend she has nothing to do with the media coverage. Number 3, rewrite the story later if it no longer serves her. Examples of this pattern include her leaking personal details to Finding Freedom, then denying involvement until court documents proved otherwise. She told Oprah that she and Harry had a secret wedding, only for the Archbishop of Canterbury to contradict her publicly. She also claimed she had no idea about royal life, but old blogs show she had been following the royals for years. The same thing happened with Invictus 2017. She planted the low-key story in 2017, then rewrote history in 2020 to make herself the main character. So what is the final verdict? In my opinion, Meghan used Invictus 2017 as a PR test run. She likely leaked the humble girlfriend story in 2017 to appear palace-friendly. She later leaked the secret engagement story in 2020 to center herself in the event. The contradiction proves she was controlling the media narrative both times. This is why Meghan's PR strategy is so transparent to those who pay attention. She keeps rewriting history, but her past leaks expose the truth. Moral of the story: whenever Meghan claims she doesn't want attention, she's already laying the groundwork to make it about herself later. So I want to thank you all for listening to this. I want to know what you feel about it. Please let me know in the comments. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever I drop new videos. I appreciate the support so much. I can't wait to talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone. If Valentine's Day with a narcissist feels more like an emotional obstacle course than a celebration of love, you're not alone. This day can be incredibly triggering for them, which means it often becomes painful for you. That's why I put together a guide called Surviving Valentine's Day with a Narcissist: Protecting Your Peace. Inside, I break down why this holiday brings out their worst, the tactics they use, and most importantly, how you can protect your energy. There are also some journaling prompts and recovery strategies to help you process everything afterwards. You can grab it now on my Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.